I think I'm live. Hey folks, how's everybody doing on this Saturday night? Okay, I'm live now. Hey folks, how's everybody doing on this Saturday night? Hope you're all doing well. I have Fender Guru gonna be coming on in a couple of minutes. I just didn't want to wait. I didn't want to go. It's already a little after 7. But as soon as he's ready, he'll pop in. He's having, I guess, some technical difficulties at the moment. But he will be on very shortly. So we've already chatted a little bit off, so he's just switching over to a laptop. So he'll be on very shortly, so no worries there. So in the meantime, let's see who we got in the house here. We got Angelo J. Ricchetti. How are you, sir? Thanks for popping in. We've got Frank Corcoran. How are you? We've got R2R3 Lockingnut. Hey, man. Michael Bishop, nice to see you. Metal Stay Joe, nice to see you too. Thanks everybody for popping in. Okay, sounds like Andrew's having some difficulties. So let me just respond to Andrew real quick. Let me just tell him to get just use his phone. Because he was on his phone earlier and it was working fine, and just go back. So let's see how that goes. So if he uses his phone, he should be able to pop back in anytime. I love it when things go smooth. Oh my God. What are you going to do? Oh, Dry Heat's in the house. Hey, Dry Heat. Adam EVH, how are you? Well, we got 12 people watching. This is freaking me out because everybody and their nephew is on. It's going live tonight. It's like I set this thing up with Fender, man, I don't know how many weeks ago, and it was really hard to kind of line everything up because, of course, he's in New Zealand and there's, I believe, a 16-hour, 17-hour time difference. So the only day that it could happen was a Saturday night, and which is, for me, it's Saturday night, and for most of you, it's Saturday night. And then I go on and I see that Shane is on, Steve is on, and I think even GTV might be on. Johnny Beane was on. I don't know if he's still on. Okay. Yeah, Andrew, just go on. Use your friggin' phone. Okay, go for it. Use the same link. I haven't changed the link, Andrew. Use the same link, man. Let me see if I can... I'll invite you again. Sorry, everybody. Let me just do this really quick. There, I invited you again. Just pop in. Okay, we got a few more people popped in. Sorry, guys. I just think this shit's funny. Grown men and technology, man. There he is. It just doesn't. Hey, he's back.
I can't see you.
You can't hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't see you.
You can't see me? That might be a blessing, buddy. Okay, let me just see. We got a few more people popped in. Mayhem, buddy, how are you? Jimmy T, how's it going? Johnny Beane, thanks for the shout-outs, man. That was cool. Appreciate that, buddy. Adam EVH, how are you? Todd, also known as Soda Pop. Todd, or Soda Pop, or whatever you want to call yourself. You've been freaking me out, buddy. I was asking about you the other day. Where the hell is Soda Pop? And then I thought you were Soda Pop, but there was another guy, Mud Puppy or whatever. I don't know who the hell you are, but if you're Soda Pop, glad to have you back, buddy. That's just going to leave it at that. Who else we got? Adam EVH, hello again. Jimmy T, hello again. Troy Harris, how are you, man? Randall Fisher, hey, buddy. Foulfish, nice to have you all checking us out. Uh-oh, Fender's gone again. Oh, man. Fender will be back soon, hopefully. Soda Pop, welcome back. Yeah, Alex R, man, how are you? Yeah. Funny stuff, Soda. Funny stuff. We're all worried about you, brother. Quentin James! Hack! How's it going, buddy? How you doing? Loving the videos, man. Loving everybody's videos. There's been some really good content coming on lately. It's been really, really cool. Really, really cool. So while we're waiting for Fender Guru, it's like, you've lost me. Okay, let me send him another invite. Oh my God. Okay. I've sent him another invite. Hopefully that one will stick. Old man Dan, how are you? Old man Dan, how are you? Okay, so while we got 20 people watching. Okay, this is great. It looks like it might be another solo show for me at this point. Oh man, Fender was working on his phone and it was working beautifully. And then I said, you know what? Because his name is coming up different. Maybe you might want to change that. So he's like, well, let me use my laptop, and that went to shit. And now he's trying to get his phone back up again, and he was on shortly. Now he's disappeared again. So, oh man, I love it. Mitch Heyman, how are you, man? BV Ninja, salut. That's good. It's good. It's good. Everybody's doing well. So, you know what? In the meantime, I know Fender will figure something out, and he'll link up to the world at some point. If anybody's got any questions, yeah, it's funny. There should be like a sitcom, like men over 50 and technology. It's like just, and I mean, I'm not giving them a hard time, man. I'm just as bad. Believe me, I am just as bad. I've had my shit storms with guests on where I've been messing up on my end. So it's hilarious, man. Yeah, Johnny Beane, your stuff runs pretty smooth, man. I want to know what your secret is. Hey, Gussie Wells, how are you, man? How are you? Yeah, and I'm a little bit wiped out today too, man. I was friggin' worked all day, and but anyway, we'll see how she goes. We'll see. Laptop may work better. Yeah, Angelo, he tried the laptop, and that didn't fly, and he went back to his phone. So I don't know what's going on here. I'm just gonna send him another message and see what the hell is going on. Okay, I'm just telling him. I'm just telling him I'm sending him more invites. And use your phone and see how that goes.
I'm done.
Thank you. I'm online. And it's good that you're done. That's awesome. Yeah. Entertainment at its best, folks. Oh my God. Someone needs to interview Brian Fingerless Guitar. He's an amazing guitarist on YouTube. He lost parts. Okay. I'm going to send it again. Okay. He's asking me to send him again. Hang on. All right, let's see if that goes. Okay, sorry guys. I'm let me catch up on the chat. What's behind you? Can you be a little more specific, Todd? Yeah, the laptop. My VCR still blinks 12. Canadian, it's not me. Soda Pop, my internet is fine. It's not me. Tell me use Google Chrome. One more try. Oh boy. There we go again. Someone needs to, yeah, fingerless guitar. Yeah, that's not a bad idea, actually, Mitch Heyman. That's maybe something I should do. Okay. Are you there? Hallelujah!
Yeah, I don't know what the... Can I swear on your channel?
Buddy, you can do whatever you want. I wasn't prepared to do it. I said I wasn't prepared to do another solo show, man. I'm half in the bag here.
No, and I appreciate you being your perseverance, but it's one of the problems when you live on the arse end of the world. It's I was having a connection problem, so sorry about that. So anyway, what did I miss?
Well, you missed me laughing my ass off. That's what you missed.
Oh,
basically. But listen, buddy, I don't know what happened. I don't know what it is. And I was mentioning at the top, and I said to you, you know, there's so many other live streams going on. And we got 27 people watching me laughing my ass off. You try to get linked up. Holy shit.
I don't normally watch live streams this time of the day on a Sunday because here in New Zealand it's 1:30 Pepper, so I'm normally doing other things.
Right.
I do watch Johnny's show because Johnny's show is on a Saturday afternoon. Yeah. So I do catch up and try and watch that show.
Okay, Mitch Heyman is saying that your audio is a little bit low, but I don't want you to mess with anything because I might lose you again.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mitch.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mitch. I'm not going to do any fiddling. I'm using my phone at the moment.
Yes, Andrew. Andrew's audio is a bit low. Andrew made it good. Yeah, good stuff. Okay, Andrew. So now that I have you on, let's officially start.
Cool. Cheers, Pippa.
So you're obviously you're in New Zealand, and I found out about you watching. Actually, it's funny. I got home from a gig, and it was super late. It would have been probably something like around 2:30 in the morning. And I go on YouTube, and I'm like, somebody's live. I'm like, who the hell is live at 2:30 in the morning? And it was you. And it was you, and it was, and you had Simon Williams on.
Cool.
And you guys were talking about, or Simon was, well, all of you were in a discussion about very early British bands, you know, 60s, 70s, whatever. And I'm like, wow, this is really cool because I dig that stuff. I mean, you know, it's all before, I can't say it's before I was born, but I was too young to know about it. But anyway, but it's just really, it was really interesting, right? And that's when I found out about you, and I messaged you. I don't know if you remember this.
Yeah.
I sent you a message or a comment, and then we got to be friends after that, whatever. And you asked me way, way back then to be on your show.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I guess it never, you know, time differences and all that, you know. So then I always sort of had that in the back of my mind. It's like, you know, I'd love to have you on at some point, which explains why I'm doing this Saturday, because I've never done a Saturday.
Sure.
Right? My first Saturday show, but it's the only time. I mean, we went back and forth. I don't know for how long trying to nail down a time and a day.
Yep.
And this is the only time that worked out. So thank you so much for making that extra effort and coming on and everything else. And and your show is great, man. It's, you know, I wish it wasn't on so late. And when I watch it, typically it's a replay. By the way, I was asking Simon the other day, I'm really looking forward to that part 2 of the Led Zeppelin show. Yeah.
So am I. That was a bombshell. I kept that on the sleeve.
Yeah. Oh, I know about that.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, don't you tell me anything about it.
I'm not saying anything, but he spilled it because I talk to Simon all the time.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to hearing how that went. But no, look, I appreciate that that you enjoy the show because you know, from my perspective and Carl's perspective, it's just a hangout. It's you know, I used to work with Carl, and we were in a couple of bands together over the years, and we have obviously a shared interest in British blues, Chicago blues, and we're just stones nuts, and we don't work together anymore. So you know what it's like when you can't hang out with somebody that you've got a lot of time for and you share a lot of interests in. So I was motivated, like most of us, I suppose, by watching Johnny Beane, you know, watching his show. And how they concentrate and focus obviously on Eddie's guitars and his bands. I always enjoyed that, and I thought, well, jeepers, why can't I do that with Carl? So it took me about 3 months to get Carl to agree to it, because he's a little bit what's the word, shy, and he's got a few work commitments too, so but now he's addicted to it. He loves it. It gives him an opportunity to talk about a passion that we all have, which is music and or guitar playing.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you mentioned that, because somebody, I'm not going to name any names, went on, did a live stream for the first time. And I sent him a message and I said, this is going to be addictive. And within he went live 3 times. So he went from never doing it before to doing it 3 times in a week. And if he's in the chat, he's going to give me shit for that. But that's the truth. So anyway, I've banned him from chats for a week. Anyway, let me just say hello to some of the new people that popped in here. Andrew, BV Ninja's in the house. How are you, BV? Yeah, I saw that, BV. I'll check that out. That comment. I saw that. Todd Flowers, JP Page 2. Guys, thanks so much for popping in. Brian Cote, just got back, went to watch the Queen movie. Pretty awesome. Yeah. Have you seen that yet, Andrew, that Bohemian Rhapsody?
No, not yet.
It's insanely good, man. Really good.
I can't wait.
Jason Wade, hey man.
Jace the Ace.
Yeah, just getting here. Everyone is live tonight. That's what I was saying. It's like I can't imagine who's gonna pop in. And meanwhile, that being said, there's 27 people watching, so this is fantastic. Sean Zimmerman is here. How are you? Yeah, so I'm
cool.
Alex Sar. So I'm going to be asking questions of Andrew about, back and forth. If you have questions for myself or Fender Guru, just tag us, okay? Put at Fender Guru or at Guitar Hack. So when did you start? When did you start getting inspired to play music or to basically what got you turned on to music, and roughly what age were you when you started doing it?
Two events in my life. Pepper, 2 events, okay?
Right.
I was about 13 years old, and I remember going to my grandmother's place, and my job was to mow her lawn. And I mowed the lawn, and I came in. Anyway, she had a spare bedroom there that used to be one of my uncle's bedrooms, and he had a record player there and a shitload of records. Right. And I remember picking up the Beatles record, Beatles for Sale. And dropping it on the turntable, and the first song was No Reply, and I just sat there and listened to that whole album, because when I was 13, like most cats, we're listening to radio music, pop music, so I listened to this album and I just fell in love with it. I fell in love with the guitar playing, and the singing and the harmonies. So I was a Beatles nut for a while. And I remember going to school and talking to some friends, and, one of the codes that you'd say when you're 13 or 14, when you'd meet a cat, and you'd say, what music do you like? Because that would tell whether or not he was a good dude or a dud. And I remember saying to people, I listened to the Beatles and Rolling Stones, and I remember, people saying, why are you listening to that music? It's old.
Yeah, that is, yeah.
It's old. It's rubbish. And so I, obviously stuck to it. And it was about 6 months later, and it was lunchtime at high school, and one of my friends called me over. And you remember back in the day, we used to have the big tape decks.
Yeah,
and,
we called them boogie boxes.
Yeah. And we went down to the back of the field to have a cigarette during lunchtime, as you do. And they dropped in a cassette tape, and it was Van Halen's Van Halen 1, Eruption. They played Eruption, and then went into You Really Got Me, I think.
Yeah.
I remember going, holy holy cow. And just walking, I felt like I was floating off the field, you know, walking back to class thinking, what the heck did I just hear?
Yeah, blew you away.
Yeah, blew me away. So from that age, because obviously in my family, you know, music wasn't a big thing. You know, my parents didn't play anything, you know. But from that moment on, I was I fell in love with the guitar. I wanted to do something with the guitar pepper.
So you started playing around that age then, 13?
Yeah. Like, you know, like a lot of us, and I suppose we laugh and we giggle, don't we, when we read biographies, you know, when, you know, you read Eric Clapton's biography where he talks about how, and Keith Richards, when they got these guitars and the action was about 3 inches off the neck, and, you know, that they were horrible. Yeah, we went through all those processes because I grew up in a working class household, so money was pretty tight, you know, so, and music gear, you know, back in the day, and it was probably the same in Canada, you know, we didn't have a lot of good imports that a lot of young cats can take advantage of now. But back in the day, even secondhand gear was expensive.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
So are you self-taught, or did you go for lessons when you were a kid? How did you...
No. Never been to a lesson in my life, Pepper. But that doesn't stop me, though, from grabbing guys and saying, hey, man, how did you do that? You know, what do you do, you know? You know, and you build up a network of friends like that. And you know, some people, even here in New Zealand, you get some guys that are very happy and quite happy to pass on some licks that they've learnt or you know, something that they've worked out. But you also met a few guys that will just say, you know, piss off you go.
Yeah. I got a couple of things. I want to say hello to a few people, and I got a question for you.
Sure.
So let me say hello to a few people that popped in later on. Jamal, how's it going, Jamal? Nice to see you. Bobby Clipper, how are you? The Picker Hat, nice to see you too. The Picker Hat, I liked your video on the Fender Meteora. I made one too. Then I watched yours. Yours is better. Troy Harris, how are you? Okay. R2. Oh, GTV. Hey, man. Nice to see you.
Awesome.
This is a question R2R3 is asking me to ask you.
Sure.
What was the first guitar you dreamed of owning when you first started?
I used to do a paper run in town, and there was a shop called Weir's Music Store, and they had you Van Halen nuts will know this, they had a Hondo guitar back in the day, and it was red, and it was striped red and white, and they had that in the shop window, and I remember I used to push bike past, and I'd look at that guitar and go, man, I want that.
A Hondo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea what that is. I'd have to see a picture of it. Guitar Pit.
Yeah. Just a cheap Korean guitar. Well, they weren't cheap actually, but you know, a Korean guitar.
Oh, cool. So, have you played in bands, or like, are you like a home player?
I'm really lucky. Most of the cats in the chat will know Carl. So
yeah.
So and you know, Carl won't tell you this, but he's a bloody good guitar player. He's exceptional. He's really, really good. And I've been fortunate over the years to play with him. And you know, we've never gigged. You know, we've gone and played in a couple of Battle of the Bands competitions. We mainly play blues.
Yeah.
But I how should I say this? I gave up a few personal habits, a few personal things about 10 years ago, and one of the things I had to sort of put aside was going out and playing because, you know, being in that environment, can get in the way of you trying to do other things. So, so we haven't done anything seriously for 10 years, but we still get together a couple of times a month. There's about 4 or 5 of us, and we get together and we just play and for a couple of hours. Love it.
So you know what my next question is going to be? Post it. I want to hear it. Take a phone, stick in a corner, you and Carl do a little jam, do something, and post it. And I'm sure everyone would love to see that.
Oh, yeah. It's a matter of, I suppose, for me, you know, I've got to be careful because I can only speak for myself. But, you know, I was saying to Pepper before, guys, earlier, before we got on live, when I was motivated because of the Johnny Beane show for us to get together and do something on the Stones and British blues. It took me 3 months to get Carl to agree because, you know, he's a shy kind of guy and likes to do his own thing. So, but that's definitely our plan. I'd love to put something of him up ripping because he's pretty good.
Well, you know what? You turn the camera on and you don't tell him. That's what you do.
Yeah. No, he's pretty good. He's pretty good.
I'd love to hear it. See, the more you say he's pretty good, the more I want to see it.
Yeah. He had kind of a, he won't mind me telling you this, but he had kind of a crossroads experience when he was about 17. He came to the guitar. He was about 15, quite late in life, and he got a job, a summer job, picking fruit. A place called Hastings, which is about 350 miles. So he jumped on a bus, took a guitar with him, and went and picked fruit for 2 months and taught himself to play guitar. And you know, because he had nothing to do, and came back, and you know, he was a guitar player.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So I'll just reading some of the things here in the chat. GTV is saying he's about to put feelers out and get back to live gigs after the winter season. Yeah, man. Good luck, buddy. I tell you, you can do some live stuff, man. It's so much fun. It just is a lot of fun. So good luck with that. Okay, yeah, if anyone's got any. Oh, thank you so much, Jamal. Jamal's got to go, and he's just saying he liked my band rehearsals, so that's great.
Yeah, I'm glad Jamal mentioned that, because that was certainly an interesting point for me, Pepper. I remember subbing to your channel and watching you. I can't remember whether it was live or of you ripping at a gig, and I thought, holy cow. This is phenomenal, because as a guitar player of sorts, when you see someone like this, you go, my gosh, because I've always had this view. I've seen a lot of good guitar players over the years playing in cover bands and playing, just hanging out with friends. You'd be surprised how many good guitar players are out there.
Well,
and we forget that sometimes.
Well, look at our community here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it never ceases to amaze me, like, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to single anybody out, but I mean, I look down at the chat. First name I see in blue is R2R3.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to single him out. And Jace the Ace, Jace has been posting some
Jason Wade,
awesome stuff. Mitch is a hero.
Mitch, the Dave Byron Blues Challenge.
Yeah.
Mitch, holy crap. I heard that. I was blown away. My God, like, there's so many good players. Todd, aka Soda Pop, if that is in fact Soda Pop, he's another monster.
Oh yeah,
I
that
mean,
is Soda Pop. Yeah,
GTV. I'm looking at
Yeah.
GTV. He's sitting there talking and playing, and I'm like, holy shit! Like, you know, everybody's just so damn good.
And Guitar Girl.
Oh
Phenomenal.
yeah. You know what? I've said this to her. I think she's a natural musician.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can kind of hear it in you know, you don't necessarily have to be flashy or technical or impressive, but when you hear something like that's, you can tell that it's coming from a natural musician, a natural player, you know, and she has that ability, you know, and if her technique matches her natural ability, she will be an absolute monster. Not that she's not bad, like not good now, but she could be insanely good.
Yeah. I agree. I remember I was about 20 years old, Pepper, and I was hanging out with a few guys. And one of my friends at the time, he said, "What are you doing Sunday night?" And I said, "Oh, nothing, you know." And he said, "Oh, I'll come and pick you up, and I'll take you to a country club, you know, where we jam." And I sort of said to him, I remember saying, "Graham, that's not my thing. You know, I don't want to go and watch these country guys, you know." And he said, "Well," he said, "come along. You're not doing anything anyway, and there's girls there." So, okay, so all right, so we went along, and I just again, Pepper, I remember being floored by this. You know, this guy came in. It's a classic image. This old guy came in. You know, he's probably my age now, but he came in. He had a Telecaster, an amp, just plugged it in. And
Yes, straight in.
No pedals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I don't like country music. When I say I don't like country music, I don't like what passes as country music nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you know, Roy Clark passed away a couple of weeks ago. Like, I loved Roy Clark. All of those guys, you know, like Chicken Pickin', all of that style, like that's I wish I could play that stuff. Like, those guys are fantastic guitar players, you know, but there's all this new country or country pop or whatever the hell you want to call it.
It's rubbish.
Well, let's call it rubbish. Okay. So, and unfortunately, because that stuff is so commercial and people love that stuff, me being in a cover band, and actually, one of the rehearsal vids, I think the last one I did, actually, I recorded, and you can see my reaction when I said, "Well, let's do this song." I'm like, "Oh, great." No, but because we got to rehearse it, but you know, when we play the song, everybody flips out, and I'm thinking in the back of my head, like, this is the most worst piece of garbage. And I'm talking songs like, oh god, Chicken Fried.
Yeah.
Or there's oh god, I'm so bad with names. There's that song that the guy used to be in Hootie and the Blowfish is singing, another country crappy song. You know, just stuff like that, right? You know, that we're doing that people like, but it's terrible music. It really is. It's so oh shit, I'm trying to remember the word. It's like a formula, you know. We got to talk about mama, we got to talk about the pickup truck, we got to talk about the cold beer, talk about the old blue jeans, all the boxes are checked, you know. And let's, you know, it's so formulaic, right? You know, it's pandering, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I was pretty lucky, Pepper, because, you know, when I was working with Carl, you know, he's got such a broad range of interest in music. And I remember he said to me, he goes, "Go home and listen to Waylon Jennings' Dreaming My Dreams." And I knew who Waylon Jennings was because he was the voice behind Dukes of Hazzard. So I go home, I listened to this album that blew me away. I do some research. Now, this cat was a serious cat. You know, he wasn't plastic. If you said something to him, he'd kick your ass.
Right.
You know, he was a real kind of guy. So, and because I love blues, I fell in love with that part of his life. You know, that the authenticity, the realism. You know, there was nothing manufactured about these guys.
Right.
That's what I love.
Yeah. He's legit.
Legit. That's it. Yeah.
GTV, take care, GTV. Thanks for popping in.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
There are some monster players in country, Brian is saying. Yep, there totally is. Dry Heat, Guitar Hack, not only great players, but more importantly, seem to be genuinely good people. Yes. Yes, Dry Heat. R2R3. I'm just wagon wheel. That's the song. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Piece of crap.
Old Crow Medicine.
Piece of crap. The people love it.
Medicine Crow or Old Medicine Show. They did it a few years ago, didn't they?
Sorry, who did that? What were you saying?
I'm just trying. Bob Dylan done it originally, and then Old Medicine Show or Old Crow. Someone in the chat will know, but they made it popular. And then Darius did a version. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I'm reading a comment by Jason Wade, and it makes no sense. You're too kind. I was going to use the Guitar Hack main, but you already had it. Laughing my ass. Well, at least he's entertaining himself, because I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Hey, Jason Wade, whatever you're drinking, man, send some this way.
I think he was saying that he was going to call himself Guitar Hack, but then found out that,
name, not main.
Yeah. But then he found out that there's already a Guitar Hack.
Hey, man, I am the hack. Oh, Jimmy T's got a question. Does Fender Guru know Neil Finn? No,
but he grew up in a small town about 30 kilometers south from where I live in a place called Tiawamutu. So, but I've seen them play a few times. They had a couple of gigs here in town. So, yeah. Todd's saying Old Crow Medicine Show did it. Yeah. Todd's right. That's that bloody wagon wheel song.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ruffalo09. Nice to see you.
Awesome.
You could say all genres are formulaic. Yeah, to an extent. I agree with that. Ruffalo09. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. Okay. Guitar Pit's still around. Hey, buddy. Any thoughts on Gretsch? The Electromatic hollow bodies are on sale for Black Friday right now. G540T and G5622T are, wow, that's a great price. You know, I played a bunch of Gretches not too long ago. I went guitar shopping with a buddy, which is always good because he spends the money and you don't. So he was looking for a semi-hollow, right? And we tried everything, man. And we went to one of the better stores here in Toronto, which is Cosmo Music. And hopefully they'll hear this and send me some coupons or something. But anyways, and they had all kinds of semi-acoustics. And it was really good because we were literally sitting in a nice room with some really high-end amps. And they were just bringing in guitars one after the other. Like, just, okay, we like this one, keep this one, take that one. Like, just going, like, I swear we went through probably a dozen. And I would play it, or he would play it, and then he would hand it to me, and I would play it, and then he would play it, and then he'd ask me what my thoughts were, and, and kind of narrow it down. And one of some of the guitars that we went through were some Gretches. Now, don't ask me what the model numbers know. It's whatever they had in the store at the time. But they ranged in price, from about the high, close to thousands to a little over 1,000. So they were in that range. They were the higher end ones and some of the lower end ones. And you know what? The Gretches sounded fine. They had Bigsby's on them, the ones we were trying. They sounded fine and all that, but I don't know. They were a little. I don't think they're my cup of tea. I don't think I can get along with the Gretsch. First of all, I can't really play that style of guitar like a Brian Setzer rockabilly, which is really what they're geared for. But they're pretty damn good guitars. Some of the ones we played were pretty good. There was a black one with had two horns on it. This was a double cut. That played really well. I remember that one.
I bought one.
There you go.
Yeah. Am I echoing? put some earphones on. See if that stops it.
Neil Young, piece of crap.
Yeah, Pepper, I bought one
Yes.
halfway through last year.
Oh, that's
and
nice.
I got rid of it after about 6 weeks because it wouldn't stay in tune.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So, and it's because of that Bixby, isn't it? It's notorious, but that's my experience. It just didn't stay in tune.
That's why we stayed away from it, was because of the Bixby. Because we looked at it, and I said to my buddy, I said, imagine stringing that thing.
Yeah.
You know, and that was sort of ended it right there. I don't know what that comment was about, Neil Young, Todd, aka Soda Pop, but I don't know.
Well, Neil Young plays the White Falcon, but they're about $7,000. They're top of the range.
Oh man, the
Falcons.
Yeah, see, when you say the White Falcon, I immediately think of Billy Duffy from the Cult.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love Removal Machine.
Oh yeah,
Woman.
I love the Cult. We're actually going to be doing a Cult. We're going to be covering She Sells Sanctuary.
Awesome.
Yeah, Mitch Heyman says Johnny Hyland is an awesome country guitar player who could. Yes, Johnny Hyland is phenomenal. Have you ever seen or heard of Johnny Hyland?
Yeah, he's the big guy.
Yeah, he's very heavy. Yeah.
Yeah,
he's a monster.
He plays Music Man's or something like that, or a version of. Yeah, he's a monster player.
Yeah. Troy Harris has a question for you, Fender Guru. He's asking, what year is that PV 5150?
2010.
There you go.
And I bought that because I was I found the Johnny Beane show. When did A Different Kind of Truth come out, Pepper? 2012?
Oh God.
The Van Halen album? Does anyone know?
I don't know.
I bought a PV Wolfgang, but it didn't have the Floyd Rose. And I bought that, and I found the Johnny Beane show and watched it for a while, and then went off and did other things. And then when I started watching the Johnny Beane show towards the end of last year, and they all talk about Wolfgang, so I was pretty lucky to pick up a good made in Japan Wolfgang 2010. So yeah, good guitar, awesome guitar.
Scott Nickerson is here. How are you, Scott?
G'day, Scott.
Gussie Wells, got to get down to Cosmo. Yeah, Gussie, man. Just don't bring your wallet. It's a pretty Jason Wade. I'm so damn silly.
Jace the Ace.
Yeah. Guitar Pit, these are Korean Bigsby higher end of the imports, just like the Fender. Okay, but Korean. Can you double spot? Todd, aka Soda Pop, can you double stop bend with a Bigsby? I found the string tension, like it was a little hard to play. You know what I mean? It seemed like it was a tighter string tension. So that's not my imagination, is it?
No.
Because that's the one thing I found with it. I was fighting it, eh?
Yeah. And some guys like that. Some guys like fighting with guitars, but if it doesn't feel good, well then, and it doesn't matter how hot it looks, you're probably going to get rid of it, aren't you?
Well, that's the thing. Like I've mentioned this a few times. Like I have a hard enough time just playing the guitar. Never mind, working to bend a note or creating other obstacles. So my guitars are set up so that they're as easy to require the least amount of effort as possible to play. Low action. I play 9-gauge strings, and I've never gotten into this thing where maybe it's just my ignorance or naivete or whatever, where, oh, well, if you're going to play Les Pauls, you should put 10s on that and put 9s on your Strat, or, you know what I mean? I put 9s on everything. And, and I don't overbend when I pick up one guitar compared to the other. I mean, if you're listening when you're bending, you're not going to overbend anything, right? So that's just me, right? So I don't like guitars that I have to fight. I don't want 10s. 10s for me, also 10s tire me out a lot quicker. So
Guitar Pit wants to know the title of the Wolfgang guitar cult. Who is the leader? I'm going to blow the whole lid off this YouTube conspiracy. Oh, holy shit.
That's funny.
I don't know, brother.
I'm
sworn to secrecy.
So, yeah, you're gonna lose your membership. So, Soda Pop is saying Neil Young's song. Neil Young has a song apparently called "Piece of Crap." Okay, I don't know it, but Johnny Highland is legal. What? Mitch Heyman is saying that Johnny Highland is legally blind. I didn't know that. Wow. I saw an interview with Rob Chapman, and are you sure we're talking about the same guy, Mitch? That would surprise me if we're talking about the same guy. Oh, Dry Heat is saying the same thing. Okay. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody different. If Johnny Highland's the heavy guy,
yeah, that's him.
Well, then I don't know. If he's blind, man, it's hard to. It doesn't come off when you're watching him play or, talking to people. So I don't know. Gretsch has its own sound. Yeah, the Gretches sound good. They have a thing. Oh, David Ennis, how are you, man?
Hey, David.
John Harden. Gretches are good for jazz, but not rock, in my opinion. Yeah. Yeah, we were actually trying to. That's why I was looking for a hollow body. Kind of wanted something that could play some kind of, like jazzy type of sounds as well. And then we ended up actually. I was playing I was playing this Ibanez semi that was just amazing. Ibanez makes really nice semi hollows, man. Beautiful guitars. Todd Flowers, I have 10s on mine and it bends easy to me. Todd Flowers, you have stronger fingers. I got very weak fingers. Oh, Mitch Heyman says, I'm so wanting a Floyd Rose now.
Yeah.
I have an Ernie Ball Music Man that has a trem on it. It's not a Floyd Rose. It's their proprietary trem. So I can do the squealies. I have the availability of squealies. Piece of crap, man. Okay. Guitar Hack, I did it like that too in the beginning, but when I went up in gauge, I just felt so much better. The fight made my playing way more articulate. Okay. Well, I've had guitars with 10s that were loaned to me. One of them was actually a PRS. I talked about this on Cheddar's. I did a show with Cheddar a while back, and I talked about having a PRS for a week, a CE24. And it was my brother's, and he plays 10s on it. And yeah, I played it, and I played it for the week. But again, I just got worn out really fast. It takes too much effort. And the way I play it, it's a lot of note bending. So, okay, I'm a little behind on the chat. Johnny is king. I'm a sloppy player, so my fell fish. That's why I'm the hack. He doesn't need to look at the fretboard. Yeah, yes, Johnny Highland doesn't need to look at the fretboard. Okay, get Mitch Heyman. This is from his bio. Johnny Highland grew up in a small town of Baileyville, Maine. He was born legally blind with an eye. Oh, so that's interesting, Mitch Heyman. I had absolutely no idea that he was blind. Wow. Soda Pop says, I have girly fingers. Yes, I do. And I'm not ashamed of it, Soda Pop. Medium-sized hands. I'm old, so yeah. Hey, Dave Byron just popped in.
Hey, g'day, Dave.
Hey, yeah, don't worry, Dave Byron. I'm looking for a moment that I can participate in your heavy metal challenge or hard rock challenge or whatever you call it. So as soon as I get a chance, I'll post a video on that. So yeah, for everybody in the chat, we got 32 people, which absolutely blows my mind. This is for a Saturday night. This is insane. Thank you all for popping in. This is amazing. Yeah, for everybody, Dave's got a new challenge. It's the heavy metal or hard rock challenge.
Wow.
So let's all pop in on that. And that, you know what? I just love these challenges because it's like I was saying to you earlier, Fender Guru, it gets everybody posting. Because that's what I want. I want to hear everybody playing. I want to hear everybody posting. You know, there's a lot of talk, but there's not enough playing.
Yeah. And while we're talking, there's something I'd like to ask R2R3 Lockingnut. I'd like him to do a video on how he gets that balance tone, because he's uploaded a few videos recently of doing some riffs from Van Halen's Balance album, and it's pretty bloody good. So show us how you get that tone, R2R3, please.
There you go, R2R3. Oh, you know what? We got to do a shout out to R2R3. Okay, because Quentin is in here somewhere. So I forgot to do that. So on a count of 3, okay, we're gonna go, hey R2R3.
Okay.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Hey R2R3.
Yeah, that's been cool. I love that.
Mate,
I've laughed my socks off with those videos.
Man.
We never grow up. We never grow up, do we?
Why? Why would you?
No.
Quentin G, funny dude, man. He is a hilarious dude.
I love it.
Yeah, Guitar Pit. I had Guitar Pit on, and I tried to get him to do it, and he didn't know what the hell I was talking about. So he's making a comment now. I had to spell it out since I feel so bad. Hey, you know what, Guitar Pit? Next time you go live, man, just do it.
Just do it. Timestamp it and send it to R2.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So what's your main guitars right now, Andrew? What are you playing these days? Or actually, better yet, what guitars have you got? Because I can see in the background, I can see a one. Is that a Wolfgang hanging there?
Yeah. So I suppose my number one guitar at the moment, Pepper, has been for a long time, is I've had the Stratocaster here. It's an 89 Stratocaster.
Nice. They sensors?
Yeah. So, but the interesting thing about the scratch plate and the sensors on here, I took the original scratch plate out, which came with standard pickups, and put the scratch plate on that came with lace sensors off a Clapton Strat, also an 89.
Right.
So I took it to a guitar tech, and he routed the back out there for the battery. So it's got the mid boost and the tone control that you get off Clapton Strats. So this is really versatile. Love it. But I've had this guitar for 20 years. So
now those lace sensors on there, are they the gold?
Yes, they're the gold.
Okay. I had that guitar. I had that guitar for a long, long time. I didn't have the active boost in it, but I had the gold sensors, and the guitar was identical to that. And you know what? Those guitars, I was able to sell that guitar 20 some odd years after I bought it for the same price I bought it for. They hold their value big time.
Yeah, absolutely. And being a Clapton nut, you know, I had to get a Clapton Strat. So I got a Clapton Strat recently, and the difference, again, it's just amazing, the difference between this, because my Strat's got a C profile neck.
Right.
So this one here has what they call the soft V. And again, the difference is amazing, Pepper, between the two of them. You know, yeah, it's like chalk and cheese. So those are my my main guitars. But earlier this year, I bought this one. I got this one here, which is the 5150.
Oh yeah.
And again, the difference with this as opposed to my Strats is the neck on this is quite wide.
Yeah.
But I had some problems when I bought this. I had to take it back because it was making some farting sounds. So I took it back and they rewired the wire from the pickup onto the pot, and I've had no problems with it. And again, I'm pretty happy because I'm no guitar tech. And I put a brass block in there. Now, in all honesty, I can't remember any difference between having the standard steel block or the brass block. I can't notice any difference in the sound. But I'm not an EVH expert, so
yeah.
But I did it.
Yeah, you probably have to really like A/B them and play them back to back in order to pick up any difference.
I still have to use a tuner to tune a guitar, so yeah, my ears aren't that good. So yeah.
Okay, so you got those ones, and you got that one hanging behind you there.
Yeah. So this is that's the made in China. Sorry, made in Japan, Wolfgang.
Okay.
So, and again, this is different, and a lot of guys would probably know this as opposed to the 5150 because this is quite narrow. So it's a narrow neck.
Yes.
So, and moving from this to the 5150, it's again, the difference is like chalk and cheese, and it has the narrow stainless frets.
Yeah, and isn't that a little bit of that's kind of a deep C to it too, isn't it?
Yeah. But I'm going to tell you something. This sounds better than my 5150.
Yeah.
Just sounds better.
Yeah.
So Guitar Pit did a brass block on his Jackson. It seemed the same, so who knows? Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm not going to argue that I think that it makes a big difference.
Yeah. I mean, I know someone who went and changed all his nuts to bone nut because he was convinced that a bone nut made all his guitars sound better.
Well, Pepper, you know what? That's where I'm going to agree with your friend because I did that recently. Hold on my Casino. I've got a. Hold on, buddy. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Cool. Sorry. Hold on, mate. So I did that recently on my Casino. I replaced the plastic nut with a bone nut. And the difference was amazing.
Oh, you noticed the difference? Okay, cool.
Oh yeah. It was just exponentially louder. Yeah.
Well, I can't say anything because I've never done it. I mean, if my guitar has a bone nut, it has a bone nut. I haven't changed from a plastic to a bone or whatever that material is that they use. I don't know. There's, I've never swapped nuts unless they needed to be swapped. I mean, I had one nut that I had to replace because it was, it was just the guitar came with 10s and I had switched it to 9s, and I guess the slots didn't work out and they had to make me a new nut from scratch, and it was a bone nut. So, but I haven't actually swapped one out just to try it out. Jason Wade says, ask Fender to show his vintage lemon drop, please.
Yeah, sure. So this is, I'll just turn the amp off. Hold on. So that's my vintage lemon drop, which is obviously a tribute to Peter Green's Les Paul. And the good thing with this guitar here is that it's wired out of phase. So what you can do is you just keep the selector in the middle position, and to get the out of phase tone, you turn both volumes up on the same level, and you get the same you get that out of phase tone.
Right.
And if you want to play the neck pickup, you just turn the neck pickup up. It's quite responsive. It's not bad. And you know, I got this pepper because I'm a British blues nuts. You know, love the Beane album, and this was affordable. So this is about $800 New Zealand. I wasn't going to buy an Epiphone, and that's no disrespect to Epiphone Les Pauls, but I just read too many reviews, and there are a lot of guys on YouTube saying, you know, don't do that. If you're going to buy a Les Paul, save your money and buy a real Les Paul. So I've taken that advice because I've wasted, you know, money buying junk before. So
yeah, well, we talked about that offline, right? And we both agreed that we would rather buy a beat up used Les Paul than get a brand new Les Paul. You know, and for me, a lot of it is cosmetic because I just can't get over the headstock on an Epiphone. You know what's funny? I saw a guy online that made this little cap that you could put on the top of an Epiphone headstock, and it would fit on there perfectly. You would glue it on, and it would turn it into the book, the open book Gibson head top on it.
I'm glad old man Dan has noticed the top wrap. Yeah, good. Yeah,
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, good top marks to old man Dan, but yeah, certainly makes a difference when you're playing.
What do you notice? What do you notice advantage of doing that is? Because I've never done.
I play with 10s. I can't play with 9s, so I play with 10s.
Right.
And I like to feel. I like to feel my strings under me without being sloppy. You know, I don't like that sloppy, loose feeling. I like to feel something. And having them top wrapped, I get the best of both worlds. I get a kind of looser feel without it being too loose.
Okay.
And it gives me an opportunity to channel my inner Eric Clapton and my B.B. King vibrato. You know, my R2R3 vibrato.
Guitar Pit's got a question for you. How is the New Zealand exchange rates? Do you guys get killed over there for Fender, Gibsons, and such?
Yeah. Like you know, the 5150 is $3,000, and it comes just in a box, no case. You know, top of the range Fenders, $3,000. A good Les Paul pepper, you know, is going to be $3,500, $4,000, $5,000. You know.
Oh, brand new Les Paul here is the same thing.
Yeah. You know, they're
over.
Yeah, they're not cheap.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're trying to get rid of last year's Les Paul, so they reduced them. So now you can get one for just under $3,000. Because it's
but nobody wants to buy them because they've got a bad rap pepper. You know, the Les Pauls over the last couple of years. Is that right?
I've got a 2016, and it's great.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know, that whole thing of, I mean, this could just be my ignorance, but of just saying 1 year is bad and just painting all the guitars with one brush. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think every year is going to have good and bad, and it's just a matter of which ones you're exposed to. Having said that, though, the 2015 year, which is, I believe, the year that they did the, you know, they did all those mods.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for me, those guitars could have been great, but I wouldn't go near them with a 10-foot pole just because they changed the look of them.
Yeah.
You know, they've got toggle switches in place of knobs. For example, on the classics, they changed the signature on the headstock. They widened the fretboard. Like anything like that, it turns me right off completely. Okay, so that year would be the exception. But apart from that, because you hear, oh, you know, don't buy a guitar from this year, that year, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, come on, you telling me every guitar, every Les Paul made in 19 whatever is going to be garbage. Like, that's impossible. There's got to be some good ones in there. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So that's just my opinion. I mean, that being said, when I bought my 2016, because that's the first standard I've ever owned in my life, and I got it for a 50th birthday present. I went through 6 guitars before I found one that was good for me. 6 of them.
Wow.
So, yeah. So, you know, it's that kind of thing, right? You just got to find the right one. Now, I'm not saying the other 5 or the other ones that I tried were crap. It's just they weren't for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you might pick it up and say, "Oh, this one's better than that one." You know, again, it's all personal preference. Oh, Suave Trainwreck's in the house. How are you, Suave?
Awesome.
Yeah, great. We got 30 people watching. So again, if anyone's got any questions for myself or for Fender Guru, just tag us at Fender Guru or at Guitar Hack. You were saying before we got on that there was some things you wanted to ask me about.
Yeah. So what's the future for Gibson guitars in your opinion?
In my opinion,
Yes.
well, I can't get worse. I think it's getting better. I think just the fact that they really slimmed down on what they're offering and they went back to basics, I think is a step in the right direction. You know, I know it's a nice idea to sort of, you know, expand your you know your product base and try to have more sales that way. But the problem when companies like Gibson do that is a lot of what they do is so iconic that people don't want anything different. You know what I mean? Like they can go out. I know they want to step out of the box, but the problem is when they step out of the box with something as iconic as Gibson, it irritates people. So I think what they've done is they've kind of reeled it back in, you know, and started making less, giving you less options, but at the same time, you know, slimming. And I think a big reason of that too is, you know, they just went through the whole bankruptcy thing, and they're trying to, you know, narrow down what their offerings are at the moment. So, but I mean, I think Gibson has a bad rap for whatever reason, but I think at the end of the day, I think still it's going to take a lot more to wipe out that name because they are so iconic. And anybody my age, you know, and I'm over 50, who grew up watching, you know, Jimmy Page, watching, you know, Ace Frehley, you know, from Kiss, or pick somebody, you know, oh God, I'm blanking out, from Aerosmith, Joe Perry, you know, any of these guys, Peter Frampton,
Eric Clapton,
Les Paul, you know, is going to want and has wanted a Les Paul and could never afford one as a kid. I just said I got my first Les Paul at 50 years old. My first standard I was 50. Wow. You know, so that's the age that, you know, and it's guys like me that are buying them. It's not the kids. It's guys like me. We're the only people who can afford them, right?
I think, mate, you've hit the nail on the head because earlier this year, Eric Clapton was interviewed by somebody, and the interviewer gave Eric Clapton a statistic saying that this is the worst year, or the last couple of years have been the worst years for guitar sales. And they asked Eric Clapton, you know, is the guitar god or the guitar guru, is that over? And Eric kind of said, well, look, you know, I suppose if people aren't buying guitars. But then I went and did some research after that interview, Pepper, and people were saying, well, actually, people are buying guitars, and the people who are buying guitars aren't the young cats anymore. You know, they're buying other things. It's guys like you've just said, you know,
yeah.
You've got the discretionary income now to throw $5,000 at that Les Paul that you've always wanted.
Yeah, exactly. It's the old game.
So I think that's where Gibson's future is. It's in their past. You know, that Black Beauty that Keith Richards played in '68 and Mick Taylor You know, they need to emphasize that. You know, Jimmy Page, for example, is doing a tribute. Oh, they're doing a Telecaster. And we were talking about this on the show the other day. And, you know, when I close my eyes and think of Jimmy Page, and I know that their first album was recorded with a Tele. We all know that.
Yeah.
But when you close your eyes and you think of Jimmy Page, you think of a guy in a dragon suit playing a bloody Les Paul.
Right. Yeah. 59 Les Paul cherry that's been faded over time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah.
So yeah.
I got looks like I just missed that. Alex R. Alex R is going to bed. Good night, Alex R. Thanks for tuning in, man.
Cheers, Alex.
Thanks so much. Todd, aka Soda Pop, is asking, ever try a Prestige? I don't know.
Yeah, I had one. I had a
Why am I drawing a blank on Prestige?
Yeah, that's an Ibanez. I see if I've got a photo.
Oh, it's an Ibanez. Okay, no, then the answer would be no. Yeah, no, I haven't tried Prestige.
I got rid of it because, again, it didn't have a trem. Don't buy one without a tremolo.
Yeah, no, I never tried Ibanez Prestige. I haven't played any Ibanez's in a long time, actually. And it's not because I don't like them. I owned an Ibanez. Actually, the only guitar I regret selling was an Ibanez. Of all the guitars I've sold, because I've gone through quite a few of them.
Yeah, the neck was super thin, man.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the wizard neck, like the really super flat neck, because my hands cramp up. I need a little something, a little bit of a C, something in the palm.
You need something to wrap around. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's funny, getting back to the Gibson thing, and that story I was talking about earlier, Cosmo. When Gibson was off the rails and they were just making all kinds of baloney, I was in that Cosmo store, and I mentioned this a couple of times. There was a Les Paul guitar that was all red, gloss red, and it had a gold leaf, looked like a wolf or a dog or something on it. Like it looked like a Chinese New Year character thing.
Wow.
Right? And the thing was worth, I don't know, something ridiculous. It was over $5,000, something ridiculous, right? And I walked in, and this is like in the high-end room they had in that store, and I walked in and I saw that, and I said to myself, I think it was with my brother, and I said to I says, you know, that nobody's ever going to buy that thing. Who the hell would ever buy that? A year goes by, I walk into the store, there's the same guitar hanging on the wall. I was right. And then 6 months later, which was about a week ago, I went to the same store. So you know what they did? Because nobody bought it. Now they took it out of this just in front of the store. They put it in a glass case as a display, because still nobody's going to buy that guitar. So now they put it out front in a display case. So when people walk in, they walk right past it. Still trying to sell that guitar. And I think that was
what's it worth? What's it worth for you?
I think it's still $5,000.
So if they dropped it down to $2,500, would you buy it? God,
no, it's ugly as hell.
Yeah, good. You said something that's really important. You know, guitars have got to look cool too, don't they? Besides feeling and playing well, yeah, you know, they got to look cool. Yeah. But what's the point in buying a Les Paul if you don't like Les Pauls?
No, it was ridiculous. To me, it's ridiculous looking, and because of that, I knew it wasn't going to sell.
Mm-hmm.
And it hasn't. It hasn't. Like, and they've held on to that thing for over a year and a half, and it's still not selling. Right, and I think that's what happened with a lot of the Gibsons. Right, they were coming up with these crazy colors and, you know, designs and things like that, and they just didn't sell. You know, because again, it goes back to the thing. It's guys like me buying them, and guys like me want to buy what we you know, reminds us of our heroes in the day, right? And so they want the traditional, iconic looking stuff, and they didn't have that.
Yeah, I'd want something.
Oh, R2R3's on the job. Thanks, buddy. He just timed somebody out. Thank you so much, man.
Oh,
I
awesome.
got some. I got a couple of moderators in here, and I think that's the first time I've ever seen anybody get timed out. So thank you so much, R2R3, man. He's all over it.
What was the person he timed out a regular or just
I don't know who that is. ATOL. I don't know who that is.
or some crank? I
Might be.
remember when I first started my show with Carl, I think Ben told me, he said, you got to get some moderators because people are just going to jump on and say crap things.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, I don't know. We've been going for like an hour and it's like 8:17 here. So we've been going for an hour and 17. So did you want to go for the hour and a half and then we'll call it? Go for another 10 minutes or so?
Pepper, I know exactly what you've been doing today, brother. So I'm going to let you go.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to say thank you very much for the invitation for jumping on your channel because like we were saying earlier before the pre-chat, the community means a lot to us as individuals, and we should celebrate the community together as a community, and just be cool and give each other good challenges, like you've just said. You want Carl and I to get on and show a clip of us playing, jamming, and I'm going to tell him that. I said, man, we've got a reputation at stake here, brother.
Yeah, man, let him know.
No, but I love it, and like a lot of cats in the chat too. We don't watch crap TV anymore. We watch YouTube. We watch real people, and and when I get to buy a position for me to buy my Les Paul, I'm going to be talking to you because you know Les Pauls. I don't know anything about Les Pauls, Pepper. You do, so I'm going to be saying, look, these are the models I'm looking at. Give me some pros and cons, man.
Yeah. Well, anytime, man. Like, again, that's what this is all about. Like, we're all here to help each other, man. Like, whether it's, how do you play this or what do you think of this model or whatever. I mean, I don't know everything about every guitar, but I mean, there are certain guitars that I kind of gravitate towards. But again, I'm sure if I don't have the answer, there's probably a bunch of people in this chat that do. You know what I mean?
Well,
there's always there's enough resources here.
I remember Simon saying something to me when he was on our show. He said what people are going to tell you is that they're going to say words that we understand. Like, for example, if I'm looking at a amp, you're going to say, man, it's got no bottom end. So I know exactly what I know what that means. From my experience, you're going to say, man, I was playing my Les Paul through that, and it just, it's got no bottom end, or you might say, it's really thick around the 12th nut, 12th part of the neck, and
well, it's like what we were talking about before we got on, right?
Yep.
If you're interested in a piece of gear, if Andrew is doing a demo on that gear, I'm much more interested in what you have to say about it than I am watching a demo of a guy who works in a music store who's trying to sell that piece of gear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I don't, we've got a couple of local shops here, and I don't, no disrespect to the guys working there, but cheapers, they don't know anything, and that's okay. We've got to do the hard work and the research ourselves.
Right.
Hey, man, I've enjoyed it, and
this was great.
And if people in the chat haven't subscribed to Guitar Hack's channel, do so.
Yeah, thanks, man. And same Fender Guru too, man. Fender Guru is an excellent dude. He's one of the first guys to welcome me into this community, and I've been trying finally for months to track this guy down and find a time. This is why we're doing this on a Saturday night. I finally managed to tie him down and get him to do one of these. So
and you're gonna have to come on to one of our shows too in the future.
Oh man, if I'm suffering from insomnia, if I'm suffering from insomnia, sure.
No, we'll schedule it for a time that suits you because we'd like to get you on because what we want to do, Pepper, is we want to talk about bands and the Stones and and Peter Green or Eric Clapton from a guitar player's perspective. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
You know, why is Journeyman such a great album from a guitar player's perspective? Oh, well, you know, because Eric Clapton was using Soldano heads, you know, and he was using that signature guitar, you know, yeah.
Right.
Mind you, we could talk about this for hours.
Well, that's now we're moving into one of your shows. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, sorry, go ahead. Is there anything you wanted to let the people know before you go?
I'm just going to say peace and love from New Zealand, guys.
Okay, cool. All right, again, I want to thank Fender Guru for coming on. This was fantastic. And like Fender was saying, let's sub to everybody. I've got some fantastic channels down below, so check them out. Sub to those nice people. And let's keep this all positive. Let's keep this all supportive. It's been a lot of fun, and I hope it continues this way. Okay, cheers, everyone. And we'll catch you, I believe I'm on Tuesday. I don't even know. I think I'm on Tuesday with China Guitar Skeptic. I think it's Tuesday. Anyways, it'll be on my channel. I can't remember, man. I've been working all day. I'm exhausted. Anyways, guys, take care. Have a good rest of the night. Cheers.